Hi, everybody. I'm Alyce-Kay from Threshold of Hineni and the Widow Reckelhaus, and I have my mom with me again. Mom, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Lyn Hanush, and I'm Alyce-Kay's mom, and I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Very good. And I'm in Sweetwater, Tennessee. You know, I was watching one of our videos, Mom, and I heard myself say, very good, very good, very good so often. I'm like, and I realized it's because, you guys, I used to teach English online to kids in China. And so I'm saying, very good, very good, very good. So I don't really correct my mom or, grade her or anything. So
Yeah.
but Mom, that's very good that you know where you live.
Oh, good.
And we'll see
I'm
if I can
glad.
remember where I live.
Yeah.
I'm in Sweetwater, Tennessee, which is in East Tennessee for all y'all who don't know where that is. So, and last time we talked about my mom's two of her walks at Mount Whitney. And so we're going to talk about two more walks at Mount Whitney, but these are really different because these involved family. And also, one of them is with really little kids, toddlers. One of them was 7 months old, not even a toddler yet. And the other one is with an Ironman. So I don't know if you're familiar with the whole Ironman thing. Mom, do you want to try to explain what that is?
There's a Ironman, what do they call it? A try something
Triathlon. Yeah,
triathlon. Thank
yeah,
you.
triathlon.
Ironman triathlon in Hawaii, I think it usually
Hmm.
is.
Hmm.
And it involves running, swimming, and biking.
And long
And
distances on all of those too.
yes,
And they do them one right after
exactly.
the other. It's like you get out of the water and you jump on a bike or something.
Yep,
It's crazy.
exactly.
Yeah. So my brother-in-law, my mom's son-in-law, Evan, has done that quite a few times. So he's very athletic. So we're going to
Very.
talk about his first, and then we'll talk about the time that we took three of my children who were 3, 2, just barely 2. She had just turned 2, and 7 months up part of Mount Whitney, not very far, but we did go up and it was quite an adventure.
Yeah.
And I figured that this is long enough afterwards that Child Protective Services, they've probably run out of their statute of limitations, and so I'm okay. So, Mom, you want to tell us about you and Evan going up? First of all, what made you guys decide to do that together?
He had been wanting to do it, and I had just done it a year or two before. I'm not sure just exactly when. And so he really wanted to do it. And I says, well, let's do it. And so we planned it for in the summer. And uh, um, I needed to go ahead of time so I could get there and acclimate. He didn't need to acclimate because he's a runner and he's in really good shape. And I was just a walker, even though I've walked long distances. It still, the lung capacity is different.
Hmm.
So his wife, my daughter, came up to our place we were living in Campbell, California at the time, which is in the San Jose Bay Area, and we uh, we went up around the back way to get to Mount Whitney, and because I wanted to get up there and do some acclimating, and we took time to do some hiking in Yosemite on our way, and then
Okay.
get down to Mount Whitney area and go up to the portal and get camped and everything. And my husband was along too, so it was Dave and Lori and I. And Lori was pregnant at the time.
Oh,
She
really?
wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, she with her first one, I think. So
Okay.
that could tell us when it was
That's right.
exactly.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out exactly which year. Okay.
Yeah. So she wasn't going to be doing the hike up, but while we were there doing acclimating and everything, I said to both my husband and my daughter, I said, how about we hike up to the lake, which is only a mile and a half or 2 miles, something like that. And go up there. I said, I will carry everything. So you two don't have to carry anything because I knew neither of them, well, she shouldn't right then.
Right.
I didn't think. And my husband is not athletic. So so we did that. Whoops.
Oops.
Talking about
That was Mom, that was Dad coming back and saying, "How dare you say that I'm not athletic?"
that's right.
She's moving the camera. You guys, my dad passed away in February, so I don't know if that's bad that we talked about him that way.
But we talk about him a lot that way, and I think
Yes,
he would be laughing
I think
about it.
you would be too.
So, uh, but anyway, I forget what I was saying now.
That you carried everybody's stuff up
Oh
there,
yeah, I
up to the lake.
carried their stuff, and they hiked up to the lake with me, and we walked around the lake a little bit, and we sat there and ate. We had taken lunch up with us, so we ate our lunch and then came back down, and they did really well. I was so impressed with them
Wow,
that they could do
good.
that. So that
Well,
was
Lori
good.
was in good shape, you know.
She was in very good shape,
Yeah,
and
I think she jogged. Not
mhm,
maybe not
yeah,
while she was pregnant, but she jogged.
yeah,
Maybe while she
yeah,
was pregnant, I don't know, but yeah,
yeah. I don't know either.
yeah.
But she's always kept in shape. She and her husband both. So she and Evan are both in great shape.
Had you ever hiked with Evan before that?
No, well, I take that back. I think we did some little hikes in the Bay Area
Oh, okay.
there in California, but nothing really big.
Okay.
And so that was, I was looking forward to it. I thought it'd be fun. So, uh, yeah, it was a great start. And then he joined us the day before we actually did the hike. So,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he couldn't come that day. You want to start early, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
So when
Yeah,
did you
we like
start and how?
started at about 3 in the morning,
Okay.
or at least we were up trying to get started at 3 in the morning. We both wore contact lenses
Oh
at
no.
that time, and they were the kind you had to take out at night and
Uh-huh.
put in the next day. And it was
Right.
so cold we could hardly put them in.
Oh
So
dear.
it took us a little longer to get our contact lenses in,
Wow.
but
For
we
both of
finally
you.
got them in. Yeah.
Huh. That's
So then we got started. I think it was closer to 4,
uh-huh.
between 3:30 and 4 when we actually got started. But
So had you signed in with the Rangers the night before or something?
no, you sign in at that time you signed in on there was a book
Oh, okay.
that was along shortly after you started, and
Oh,
you had
okay.
to sign in there. And so that way they could check it through the day and see how many were still up there, and you
Right.
had
Make
to
sure people
check
got
out when
down.
you came back. So
Yeah. They don't want anybody getting stuck up there. So,
right. Yeah, they're very careful about that. So we got started, and we were both pretty good hikers, but it was still him being an Ironman, and it was just amazing. He was taller. He had longer legs and everything. So
so
we
this
stayed.
was 1987 probably. So how old were you?
Let's see.
I would have been like 36. No, 26. I would have been 26.
Yeah, I
26.
would have
Yeah, I would have been
been.
26. No, 87. No, it could, yeah, 87. Okay, so I would have been about 26. So you would have
So I would
been
have been
43,
40. I was born in 42, so
44,
I would have been 44. Is that right?
44. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Neither of us is good at math, you guys. You can write the answer down
That's
below. She was born in
not my
1942. This was
expertise.
1987. Figure it out.
That's right. Uh, so,
And I homeschooled my kids and I taught math to Chinese kids.
amazing.
Our economy should be doing a lot better soon.
Oh dear.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Mm,
So yeah, so you were in your 40s.
yeah.
Okay.
So we headed up and did pretty good. We got to the switchbacks and took a break, and then headed up the switchbacks. And at that point, that's where he was doing so much better than me. And I said, "You just go ahead. I'll catch up with you. You can wait up further, and I'll catch up then." And so he did, but he waited every so often for me,
Hmm.
and so we did most of the switchbacks pretty good, and then we finally got up to the top of the trail of the switchbacks and headed on up the trail. And some friends from church, Rich and Eileen Brown, they were up there at the same time. I knew they were
Oh,
coming. So,
okay. Oh, that's interesting.
and they had started up even earlier than we did. So they were already at the top and were just starting back down. So we met them on the way to the end of it after we were up on the by the windows where the mountains are peaks that you can
Uh-huh.
peek in between.
Oh, that's
And so
cool.
that was kind of fun.
You know,
And
whenever I think of Rich Brown, he's the one that you saw in the cupboard
in the cupboard.
in our kitchen. Do you remember that? You, you came one time to me, you said Rich Brown is in the cupboard. It was a package. Okay. It was a package of it was a package of Rich Brown gravy. Rich Brown gravy. Oh my gosh. Did you hear what I said? Could you understand me? Rich Brown gravy. And
Okay.
you saw a package of Rich Brown gravy and you just saw Rich Brown. So I
Oh,
always think of that whenever you say anything about Rich Brown now.
that's funny.
Oh,
I guess we're both tired because we had to laugh so hard. Oh dear.
oh dear. Yeah.
That was great. Laughter is good medicine.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. Okay, so you found the gravy and the boat,
Yeah.
the gravy boat. You found Rich and Eileen. Okay.
Yeah. So that was fun greeting somebody.
Oops, oops. You just went, you muted for some reason. Okay, you were saying it was fun greeting somebody.
Yeah, greeting
Oh, you just muted again.
coming up there.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. Um, anyway, we greeted them and then we continued on and they headed on down. And we got up to the top and we took quite a while looking around. And you can see on a clear day, you can actually see all the way to Death Valley, which is about
Oh,
90 miles away.
wow. Oh, that's
So,
cool.
and it was a pretty clear day, but we couldn't figure out if we saw it or not. So,
Uh-huh.
but they
So you
tell us
guys,
you
Mount
can.
Whitney is the highest point in the continental US, and Death Valley is the lowest point in the continental US, and they're, like less than 100 miles away from each other. So that's
Right.
really cool.
Yeah, it really is. It's real neat. So anyway, we spent quite a bit of time up there, and there's a book you sign up there too for,
Oh, cool.
to say I was at the top, and you make
Hmm.
comments and stuff. So we signed that, and we sat down for a little bit on some rocks, just enjoying the view, and took some pictures and everything, and then we finally headed back down, and going down was super fast. We were both, in good shape for going downhill. So
Oh, good.
uh,
Yeah.
did it really well. We made the round trip in just 13 hours, which
Oh,
is
wow.
really good.
So that was the
Um,
fastest of any of your trips, right?
it was, yeah. And it's 11-mile trip up. You
Hmm.
hike up 11 miles. So 22 miles in 13 hours is what
Yeah.
we did,
But
which is
hard miles, not,
hard miles. Yeah.
yeah.
And the going up is always slower, of course, but
Hmm.
coming down was a lot of fun. And I was so excited that we had actually gotten up there in such a short time.
That's
So
so
that was good.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
neat.
it was really fun doing it with my son-in-law. I
Uh-huh.
really enjoyed that.
Evan is cool. He's really neat. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was just really sweet the whole time about waiting for me and not pushing me to rush or anything.
Hmm.
So it was great.
Yeah. Well, at 43, to him, you were really old. So
Yeah, that's true.
back then,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember on your 25th birthday, I thought you were going to die sometime soon. I was so upset because everybody was saying you were over the hill.
Oh dear. Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I
and
can
then
remember.
you, what?
I can remember thinking things like that about people who were 10 years older than me or something, and you'd think
Yeah.
they were just really
So
old.
old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you get up there and it's like, 80's not old at all.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. So, did you guys do anything else after that? After you got back or anything? How long did you stay there at the portal?
We stayed overnight that night and then left the next day, and they went back together um, to their home, and we went back to ours and such. But it was a lot of fun. We had just a really good time of sharing with them and being together and doing things together. So and getting acclimated ahead of time was great.
Mm-hmm.
That really helped me.
No, that's neat.
Um,
Well, so when you went before that, on your way there, you said you guys did some hiking in Yosemite. So
mhm.
Lori and Dad hiked with you, or?
Yeah, but short ones. They were just short hikes. We didn't do anything big,
Oh,
but
okay.
it was, still had the elevation. So it gave me a chance to acclimate,
Mm-hmm.
do some acclimating already.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so let's talk about the hike with the girls. So
Okay.
my girls at that time were 7 months, just barely two, and 3 years old.
Yeah.
And you guys have to understand that my kids started walking once they got out of the womb, basically.
Yeah.
Brenda, my oldest, when she was 2, walked 6 miles for the first time. And then soon after that, we started walking the 6 miles to meet my mom every week.
Mhm.
And we would, you must have driven us back. I don't think we walked back home.
Right. Yeah, I think so. I think
Drove
we
us
did
back.
drive
Yeah.
you. Mhm.
But I remember, like we would always stop at a convenience store, 7-Eleven, around the corner from us, and I'd let the kids choose something that they could have partway through. And they always chose this long licorice rope, the red licorice rope.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and I remember one time Brenda had it, she was eating it, and it was over her shoulder, dragging along the ground because she was so little.
Yeah.
It was just really funny. And one time we started at like 3 or 4 in the morning. We woke up really, really early, and we were supposed to call you when we were leaving. And we got to the gas station around the corner from you, and we called you from there. And you said, "Oh, I'm vacuuming, and then I'll leave." You weren't in a hurry because it was going to take us a long time, and you would meet us like halfway. And then we showed up at your house while you were still vacuuming,
Oh,
and we surprised you. As we walked in the dark almost the whole way. It was crazy.
oh dear, that's funny.
Yeah, yeah. So my
Yeah.
kids, my kids kind of grew up walking a lot, and when they were 6, 7, and 8, they walked the California Mission Trail. So that's another thing that we'll talk about another time. So we were just, they did a lot of walking. They didn't have a choice with their grandma. So,
Yeah.
and when they were too young to walk, we had a backpack stroller and we carried them or pulled it and stuff, depending on
Mhm.
what the conditions were. So we went up there. We acclimated someplace else though. Where did we go first?
Actually,
Did we
I
go
think
straight there?
that was I think
Okay.
that was our
I think
first
we went
one.
to Visalia. We spent some time in Visalia and then,
We we had actually started the trip as it was half of it. We were gone for 3 weeks, I think, or was it 2 weeks? Gone for enough time that we spent the first half of it visiting people by car.
oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
And and then the second half, we went to places where we would be camping and
Mm-hmm.
hiking.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So we were on our way back from the south. So Mount Whitney was the first place
Okay.
that we
Okay.
went. And we camped up there and
So
uh,
did we camp for like 3 days or something before we hiked? I
a
think.
couple of days, I think, was
Yeah.
all. Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't a long time,
Okay.
but we weren't, we knew we wouldn't hike up very far either. And we figured with the kids, we would just do what we can and what
Right.
they want to do, what they're comfortable with, and what we were comfortable with.
And Lois had just started crawling. So
Yeah.
she was like mainly pulling herself along on her belly. So you guys imagine at a campsite. So she was filthy, just filthy.
That's right.
And I had
Yeah.
bought at Costco, I had gotten a huge bag of animal crackers And so we had
Oh
those
yeah.
out on the table, and there were blue jays. And it's
Yeah.
like those blue jays invited all the blue jays in the entire world to come and eat those animal crackers. We had to hide in the car for a while they were attacking the bag of animal crackers.
Yeah.
That was really crazy.
Yeah. That's right.
So
Yeah,
tell
that
about
was
walking
fun.
up Mount Whitney then with the kids.
One other story, since
Oh,
they
okay.
know knew I wear contact lenses.
Uh-huh.
That morning when I put my contact lenses on, I dropped one, and I was sitting at the picnic table, and so it ended up in the dirt someplace under the
Oh
picnic
no.
table. And I was searching for it. Actually, that was the morning we were leaving, so it wasn't quite so bad. But I was searching for it and I couldn't find it. And I figured, well, I got my glasses so I can wear them. And, I'm putting things in the car, getting ready to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I looked back and there was a glint of sun shining on something under the table. And I went over and picked it up, and it was my contact lens.
Oh wow.
Oh, that was like an answer to prayer because I needed that contact lens. I didn't want to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to clean it off. I didn't put it in my eye that time
Yeah.
because it had to be
Sterilized and
cleaned,
stuff.
sterilized, and yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
but anyway, when we were getting ready to hike up as far as we could, we did that. We got started, and we had Lois, the 7-month-old, in the stroller,
It's a backpack stroller.
backpack
So it
stroller.
could be worn as a backpack, or you could take it off and it had a handle and two wheels.
Yeah. So we pulled it up or pushed her up a lot in one
Mm-hmm.
way or the other.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple of crossings that have water going through. And so they've got just sticks across it that you have to walk over.
Right.
And so we were trying to figure out how we would get Lois over with the backpack walker and get the kids over. So we worked it out where I got helped the kids get over what we did, and then I went back and I took the backpack and carried it over the sticks, and Alyce-Kay came over, and so
And
it worked,
yeah.
but it was quite a procedure.
Wasn't there one place where a couple guys helped us get it across?
I don't remember that, but there might have been.
Yeah, I
It
think there
wouldn't be
was. I think there was the
surprising.
one place where we could not figure out how we were going to safely do that, and a couple of
Okay.
guys came along and they passed her from one to the other over
Oh,
it or
that's
something.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that could very well be.
Yeah. So we didn't
Uh-huh.
go all that far, but we got to the switchbacks. Wow. Okay, that's thunder. Do you hear that?
No,
Oh,
I
it's really
didn't hear it.
loud. I have noise canceling
Wow.
microphones, so yeah, it's really loud.
Uh, cool. So anyway, we we continued hiking and pulling or pushing the stroller
Hmm.
backpack up, and some people came along and they saw that they'd been following the tracks, and they said we were wondering who was coming up in a wheelchair, or or
Somebody thought
what
that it
it
was a
was.
grocery cart.
Yeah,
Somebody was pushing a grocery cart up there.
yeah.
You
So
don't
that was
usually
pretty
see
funny.
wheel tracks on a trail like that.
Yeah, that's right. So and also I had just recently been reading about a lady named Hulda Crooks, who from the time she was 65 on had hiked up Mount Whitney every year. And I thought,
Wow.
oh, it would be so much fun to meet her someday. I would really like that. Well, we found out from some people that were coming back down at one point that she was actually on the trail, but she was quite a bit ahead of us. So we
And she
knew we
was how
wouldn't be able
old
to hike
then?
that
She's
far.
like
She
90.
was 90 years old,
Okay, yeah.
and that was her last year to hike up. And others carried her packs, everything for her. She didn't,
It's
and they
still,
helped her up.
that's just an incredible
But
thing.
Yeah,
That
it
is so
really
cool.
is. And so she was kind of my hero, and I really had wanted to meet her, but I never got to meet her, but that's okay.
But you were on the mountain
Um,
at the same time that she was,
yes,
and you
I
had your
was.
very young granddaughters. It would have been very cool to have gotten to meet her and have somebody who was
It
so
would.
old and kids who were so young. Because, you know, I wonder if my kids were the youngest ones who ever went up there. I mean, it's crazy you guys bring kids on that trail. It really
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
It's not that they weren't unsafe at any time. Well, they might have been unsafe a couple times, but
yeah,
generally they were safe.
yeah.
But we got to the switchbacks, and
Not to the big
not the big
switchbacks.
switchbacks, but
No,
there
we
were
didn't
some
make that,
switchback. Yeah,
but
that there
there
were
were
some small
switchbacks.
switchbacks that we got to. And what happened there? There were a couple of big things that happened there.
Yeah, I know well, there was one place where Sam was running up the trail, and all of a sudden the trail curved and she was not curving. And
She
so,
turned back to look at me while she was
yeah,
running at top speed for a 2-year-old. She was running and she said, "Look, Mom, I'm running," and she stepped off the cliff.
and Alice-Kay reached over and grabbed her
Dove and I
clothes.
grabbed her
And,
clothes. Otherwise, I would have
and
lost my daughter.
yeah, so yeah, that was really amazing. We were not expecting that. We were much more cautious after that
Yeah.
about
Well, and
keeping
and
her
the
close
next time
by.
that I took my kids someplace, I got leashes for them.
Yeah.
I always was disgusted at people who had their kids on leashes. But we went to the Grand Canyon and I
Mhm.
had been there a couple times and the rails, a little kid could just walk right under it and
Oh yeah.
they wouldn't even know and then just step right off the cliff. And I mean, I'm terrified of heights and those rails do not help my fear at all. And so then having little kids, I thought I'm not going to the Grand Canyon with my kids without leashes. And after that, they loved those leashes. Oh my word, they anytime that we'd go walking, they'd want to wear the leashes.
Yeah, that's great.
So I'm not sure that the
Yeah.
leash would have saved her though. Those
Yeah.
things, they're not that strong, you know, and she went running off the side of the cliff. And it was
And
a long way down.
yeah, there were some trees that maybe would have caught her,
Maybe
but
would have
would
caught
have
her, but
hurt her too. So
yeah. Oh my
that wouldn't
gosh.
be
Yeah.
good.
No, so that was God
So
and her guardian
yeah,
angel.
yeah,
And yeah, the other thing that was kind
absolutely.
of cool on the little switchbacks that we were on was, you know, they were little, they needed a nap. And I
Yeah,
mean, they've been walking on this thing and running too. And they needed a nap. And it's like you look around and where are you going to take a nap? The trail is narrow. You can't really, a lot of the places you couldn't walk two people side by side.
yeah,
And what we finally decided was one of the switchbacks, it went out a little bit. So there was enough room. We didn't want to block the trail either.
yeah.
And there was no place to get off the trail. And so mom and I got a bunch of rocks and we put them right along the curve of the switchback. And we had the girls lie down there and we sat right next to them, like with our arms, making sure they didn't roll off or something.
That's right.
And people would
Yeah,
come and they'd look and, oh, wow, how cute. They're taking a nap on the trail. And
yeah.
how do you keep them from rolling off? But yeah,
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was fun talking to people along the
it
trail
was.
because
Yeah.
they'd never seen anything quite like that before.
Yeah. Yeah. No
So,
little kids like that.
yeah,
Yeah. So if you all know anybody who's taken their little kids up there, I want to know about it because I want to know if my kids are the youngest ones to have
yeah,
gone up there. We didn't go all the way. I think we went a mile and a half total, I think,
yeah,
round trip. And that
yeah. I
took us
think
all
so.
day. Um, but that was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
it was really neat. It was
Yeah.
fun doing that with them. And
I wonder if they even remember that.
uh,
They were all so
yeah,
young.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so we
Yeah,
left there and went to Yosemite,
right.
and
And
they were having a lot of bees that year.
oh, that was horrible.
So we had at one place they had this little stand and you could get food to eat and we
This
got
was up at
salads.
Glacier. That was at Glacier Point.
Glacier Point, okay. And I think we had just all gotten salads. And so
Yeah,
we got salads. That was probably the only healthy thing that they had. And we were sitting down at the table, the picnic table, and swarms of bees just came and landed on it, which of course was really scary. And so they had to call in 2 people with beekeeping suits to take the salads and put them in the trash.
Mhm.
So we didn't have our lunch.
Yeah. And at one point, we had tried to get into the car and keep the bees out and get in there and eat, but we couldn't do that
Yeah,
either.
no, you
It was
couldn't.
like there was no way.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Bill and I used to keep bees, and I never saw them swarm like that. That was
uh,
just, and the queen wasn't even with him. I mean, when the queen's with him, then they all go, they all follow. But they wanted the salad. There's something in the salad that they
that's
wanted.
right.
So
Yeah.
man, it was crazy. But yeah, so that was good. Yeah, I would be curious to find out from the girls if they even remember that, because they were so young.
Yeah. I'll have
Yeah.
to ask Sam sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. So next time, what walk are we going to talk about, Mom? Did you want to do
Uh,
Oregon and Washington
the
or?
Oregon and Washington
Okay.
walk, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
That
So we're
would
going to
be
go
next.
back to Mom's walks that are around the US. She has walked both coasts, and then she's walked from the uppermost northwestern point down to the farthest southeastern point, Key West, Florida. And then she started walking kind of a zigzag to hit all the rest of the states. And she's going to finish that. So that's coming up. So
Yeah.
in our next talk, we'll talk about her walk up the East Coast. Is there anything else that you want to say before we close, Mom?
I think that's about it. It was great talking with you again and
Yep.
enjoyed this.
Okay. All right. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.